Make sure to like and subscribe in the next 5 seconds. You guys will actually face the next 5 years of bad luck. Time's ticking. Hey guys, I just want to give a big shout out to FlightFX for making me an insane YouTube banner. I'll put it up on the screen right here. And also Nufan for making these thumbnails. You're going to be making my thumbnails from now on. They're really talented GFX guys. And yeah, if you guys do want to get some work done by them, I'll leave the links to contact them in the description down below. So yeah. Yo guys, before I get into the video, I would just like to say I don't really promote my creator code that much, but I would really appreciate if you guys do use code PROPRAV in the Fortnite item shop. It would greatly support me, and yeah, without further ado, let's get right into the video. Yo, what is going on guys, and welcome back to my channel. In this one, I'm going to be doing a mouse comparison between the glorious Model D and also the Logitech G502. And I'm going to talk about a few different things within the video. I'm going to talk about which one I currently use and why I use it, and some statistics for each mouse. And then I'm also going to be talking about the different advantages / disadvantages for each mouse. And I'm also going to be talking about which mouse is actually, in my opinion, better for Fortnite. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright guys, so a lot of you may or may not know that I actually used to use the Logitech G502, and I was using it for around a year and a half, and I decided to make the switch to the glorious Model D as it was a lot less heavier, as the G502 was 121 grams heavy, and the glorious Model D is only 68 grams, so it's almost half the weight. And one big factor to actually switching the mouse was the weight, of course, but also one thing I did have to get used to was that the thing about the G502 is that there was an extra side button, and I'll put it up on the screen right here. And then there's an extra side button, and this actually helped a lot for me personally, because I used to use it as one of my binds, and I feel like the extra side button does really help a lot, as it takes it allows you to use your keyboard binds for a lot more different things. And that's one thing I had to get used to, because I had to switch some of my binds around, and it was kind of weird. And also getting used to a really lightweight mouse was kind of hard for the first few days, but then you eventually got used to it. So yeah, now I'll be moving on to the statistics of the mouse. Alright guys, so for the G502, as I previously said, it does weigh 121 grams, but you can add extra weights, which is optional, for up to 18 grams extra, so it'll be 139 grams total. And the cable length for this is actually 2.1 meters long, and the cable is a lot more heavier than the glorious Model D's as well. And the sensor that it uses is a 3366 sensor that Logitech actually worked with Pixar to develop, which is pretty good. But the glorious Model D does beat it. It uses an optical sensor, and also both mice do have RGB included as well. But the glorious Model D's RGB does look a lot more cooler in my opinion. And the cord for the glorious Model D is amazing. Like, it feels weightless when you're moving it around. Like, it honestly feels like it's a wireless mouse. Alright guys, so moving on to which mouse I think is better for Fortnite. In my opinion, I do believe the glorious Model D is better for Fortnite, as it's a lot more lightweight, so you get a lot more control with how much force you're putting in to actually move around your mouse, as the movements within Fortnite feel a lot less clunky with glorious Model D versus the G502, as the cord is a lot more lighter and it feels weightless. So when you're moving around your mouse, it's going to feel so much more smoother, and you'll just have a much more amazing gaming experience overall in general. And this mouse is in a really good price range as well. It's super cheap. It's like the same price as the G502, like super affordable. Also good alternative to the final mouse, Air 58 Ninja, which is $400 on Amazon. And if you're Bill Gates, unless you're Bill Gates, you're probably not going to be able to afford that. So yeah, that's why I do believe the glorious Model D is a lot more better than the G502. And also the RGB looks very cool, and you get software as well included, so you can control different DPI and also the RGB effects. So now I'm going to be talking about the advantages versus the disadvantages of the Logitech G502 and the glorious Model D. So first off, with the glorious Model D, some good advantages I already mentioned before are that super lightweight, cord feels weightless, RGB is amazing, the sensor is amazing. But a disadvantage is that sets apart the G502 from the Model D is that there are less buttons to actually customize with your keybinds and stuff. Like for example, with the G502, you actually get side clicks on your middle mouse button. Like you can side click the middle mouse button, and that can be an extra keybind that you can use for Fortnite. And also you get the extra side button with the G502, which is actually very useful. I used to use that for my pickaxe button actually, which was super accessible because I just had to move my thumb like a bit and easily be able to click it. So yeah, I think that's one downside of the glorious Model D. Also, both mice are ergonomic, so which means that they're meant for right-hand users. And I feel like the G502 does fit the hand a little bit better than the glorious Model D. But however, some disadvantages of the G502 are that it's pretty heavy for Fortnite. The cord is pretty heavy as well, and also it just feels super clunky when moving around and not as smooth as the Model D. So yeah, that's why I do prefer the Model D over the G502. Alright guys, so that's gonna be it for today's video, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy and also found this video really helpful for which mouse you guys actually want to get. But however, the mouse you choose is up to personal preference in the end. So you guys, even though I say that I feel that the glorious Model D is a lot better than the G502, some people do prefer the G502. Like people like Mongrel, they use heavier mice such as the G402 just because of the extra buttons. But yeah, it's all up to personal preference in the end. But I hope this video did help you guys make a decision. So yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Roper Ave, out.